Welcome back to Aurora Tech Channel. Today, I'm going to review the Ender 3 Max Neo. If you consider the Ender 3 Max to be a pump-up version of the Ender 3 Pro, this Ender 3 Max Neo is actually more like a pump-up Ender 3 V2 in terms of its features and appearance. Let's take a look at the features of this Ender 3 Max Neo and see how it compares to the Ender 3 Max. It has 6 major upgrades compared to the Ender 3 Max. 1. It has been upgraded to a dual Z-axis with a timing belt at the top of the gantry. 2. It comes with a CR Touch auto bed leveling sensor. 3. Belt tensioners have been added on both the X and Y axis. 4. The LCD screen has been upgraded to the same color screen as the Ender 3 V2 and the Ender 3 S1. 5. It uses a new Creality hot end to replace the old MK8 hot ends on the Ender 3 series. 6. There are other cosmetic upgrades like a drawer and moving the power supply to the base. Overall, it does have a slightly better appearance. Some features on the Ender 3 Max are still used on the Ender 3 Max Neo, like the Creality V4.2.2 32-bit motherboard with TMC 2208 silent stepper drivers, dual part cooling fans, and the metal extruder. However, the 300x300x320 print volume is slightly smaller than the Ender 3 Max's print volume of 300x300x340, and the Meanwell power supply has been replaced by a Creality brand PSU. The rest of the parts, like the glass bed, the Bowden setup, and the mechanical limit switches, have all stayed the same. I would like to thank PerGear for sending me this machine to review, and with that, let's get started. The gantry of this Ender 3 Neo Max is already pre-assembled. The rest of the parts include the base, a color screen, a filament holder, some tools, and a roll of 200-gram sample filament. Let's take the only bag of screws out of the toolbox, which contains 4 long screws to secure the gantry. Next, snap the filament holder onto the side, and then use the T-nuts to mount the color screen at the front right of the machine. Finally, connect the 2 Z-stepper motor cables, switch the power voltage to 115 volts, and we can turn on the printer. First, I will start with Auto Home and manually level the 4 corners. Then, I will set the Z offset, do auto bed leveling, and feed in some filament, starting with this new Creality CR Series Strawberry Pink PLA. We will now go to the computer and set up this printer in Cura. I will just use the Ender 3 Max profile, change the name to Max Neo, and change the print volume to 300x300x320. Let's keep all of the default settings and start with the XYZ calibration cube. The cube looks alright. The surfaces are not perfect, but at least everything is working and the dimensions of the cube are accurate. Up next, I will print a 3D Benchy. There are some missing spots on the surface, so there may be too much retraction. I will try one more print first and see if I need to reduce the retraction distance. Besides that, the layers and cooling look fine. Then, I will print this dragon. I will still keep the default retraction settings first, as this dragon model can string a lot if there isn't enough retraction. the result actually looks pretty good. There aren't many missing spots compared to the 3D Benchy, but the problem is that this glass bed sticks too well. I couldn't remove it from the bed even after waiting for an hour for the bed to reach room temperature, so I still had no way to remove it without damaging the print, which was really unfortunate. After that, I will try some new filament. Voxel sent me a few rows of their PLA Pro, and I will test it out and print this London bus. I will slightly reduce the retraction distance to 5mm and see if it works better. The bus will take more than 16 hours to print. This print is beautiful. The details on the bus are nice, the layers look good, and it's even a bit shiny and looks a little like PETG. For just $17 PLA, it looks pretty good. Next, I will use $13 Eryone PLA to print a model of the White House. I will just leave the 5mm retraction distance and all of the other default settings unchanged. It's going to take 28 hours to print. This White House looks awesome. The details are nice, and I can't find any issues with the print. I'm quite happy with the print quality of this Max Neo, as well as this $13 Eryone PLA. After that, I will print a spinner toy with $12 Eryone PETG. I made a hole at the bottom so I can insert the handle after the print is done to make sure we can print with a flat bottom. I will set the nozzle temperature to 235 degrees Celsius and the print bed to 85 degrees Celsius. As the contact surface of the handle is small, I will also use the brim to help with adhesion, and it's going to take about 5 hours. There's a bit of stringing at the end, but it was still printed decently and is also quite easy to spin. Next, I will use this Overture ABS to print a cable roller. As printing with ABS is toxic, I will once again use the Congra 40-watt air purifier. The suction power is not super strong, so we have to move it fairly close to the print head. The result is awesome. With the brim and glue applied, it has zero warping and there are no issues with this print at all. Finally, I will try printing with TPU. Generally, a Bowden setup may not be able to print TPU, but surprisingly, this Eryone transparent blue TPU can be printed by every single printer that I have tested so far. So let's give this basic Bowden setup a try. This TPU disc is really nice. It's softer than normal 95A TPU, but even this basic Bowden setup can print at a normal speed of 50mm per second without any issues. Okay, let's talk about what I like about this printer. 1. It uses a CR Touch as the auto bed leveling sensor. It works just as well as the other more expensive Creality machines like the Ender 3 S1 Pro and the CR10 Smart Pro. I can use the entire print bed to print all of these letters with a perfect first layer. 2. The assembly is easier than previous Ender 3 series machines, as the gantry has already been put together in the factory. You can put everything together using just 4 screws within 10 minutes. 3. The dual Z-axis upgrade also improved the old CR10 and Ender 3 Max's single Z-axis stability. 4. The new hot end with the larger heat sink seems to have improved heat dispersion, which could also decrease the chance of the hot end clogging. 5. It prints pretty nicely right out of the box. For the slicer, you can use the Creality slicer of the new Creality print, but using the old Ender 3 Max profile in Cura 5.1 works just fine as well. I'm actually quite happy with this Ender 3 Max Neo. It runs smoothly and works pretty well out of the box, and it didn't have any major issues and met my expectations of a Creality printer in this price range. However, this Ender 3 Max Neo falls into an embarrassing situation when comparing the price and features with other same-size mid-range 3D printers in the market. In terms of features, it's not bad. It added quite a lot of upgrades compared to the Ender 3 Max. I remember the Ender 3 Max was selling for around $329 when it first released 2 years ago. As this Ender 3 Max Neo is around $369, paying just $40 more to get a CR Touch, dual Z-axis, belt tensioners, a color screen, and other cosmetic upgrades is a good deal. However, the price of the Ender 3 Max has dropped to around $269 for clearance, which makes this Ender 3 Max Neo temporarily cost $100 more than the Ender 3 Max. Moreover, the print volume of this Max Neo is 300 by 300 by 320, which is slightly smaller than the old Max's 300 by 300 by 340. I think it would be more reasonable to make it slightly larger at 300 by 300 by 350, or at least keep the same print volume. It's like how you might not really want to see the next generation of iPhone screens being reduced to 6 inches instead of the current 6.1 inches, even if you won't notice the difference at all. Another thing is that Creality is reserving their Sprite direct drive extruder for their mid-range Ender 3 S1 series and their flagship model, the CR10 Smart Pro. Other new generation entry-level machines, including the Ender 3 Neo, Ender 3 V2 Neo, and this Ender 3 Max Neo, all use a Bowden setup and a single gear extruder. However, for around the same price, there are too many mid-range printers that are the same size in the market that all come with the full package, including a Titan or BMG clone dual-gear direct extruder, a color touch screen, a dual Z-axis, auto bed leveling, and all of the other minor features. So, this Ender 3 Max Neo may not be as competitive as the Ender 3 S1 series and CR10 Smart Pro without the Sprite extruder. I think it would be better to use a regular dual gear extruder and put it on top of the hot end to make a slightly bulky direct extruder instead of this Bowden setup with a single gear extruder. In conclusion, if you like the Ender 3 V2 and are looking for a pump-up version with some upgrades, this printer is for you. You pay $100 more and get a larger Ender 3 V2, a CR Touch auto bed leveling sensor, a dual Z-axis, a filament sensor, and a new hot end, which is still pretty good. If you are interested in this Ender 3 Max Neo, I put the link under the description. That's it for this video. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button and click the notification bell to receive new video updates. I will see you next time.